March on, brave Dowie! March on!
That is quite the army. So as you can tell by the title, we're going to have a little discussion about cheese in this game. I'm playing against a player who is well known for this build. He goes by BORO or something else like this. His name was changed. He changes his name all the time, and apparently he only plays this build, which is complete cheese against everyone he can get a chance, and he avoids good players, etc., etc. But we're going to get into discussion as to cheese and its place and who is responsible for this cheese. Is it BORO, who plays the same build over and over to unexpected players come across it, or is it creative assemblies who allow this to happen? You know, if you listen to Legend of Total War, and his philosophy is they make the game the way they make the game. If they don't want it played that way, they can make the changes, and that is absolutely true. We're going to have a discussion after this game, but let's go over my opponent's army. I am playing the Dowie, of course, and this is BORO. I think he's rank 14 in the world, though he is not that skilled, clearly. He has 3 Mortis engines, and 1 is the Claw of Nagash, and those Mortis engines have regeneration of hit points, improved power recharge rate for magic, it causes damage to combatants, and it slows things. It has a chilling aura. He does have 3 Vargulfs, which are really fast, armor piercing, and you know, I don't think they're that great against the Dowie, but people do keep bringing them. And for his leadership, you know, what we'd expect, he does have Heinrich Kemmler, so he can bring Krell. He has Lord of Undeath, summons Krell. He does have Undeath Resurgent for the 16 leadership and 27 melee defense. He has Raised Dead for 7 Raised Deads of zombies. He also has Invocation of Nehek and Chaos Tombblade. So when he is in melee, he has a 30 meter radius where he heals injured and replenishes hit points and has +5 melee attack. And he has Curse of Undeath. When he casts a spell, he heals injured combatants. And he has Master of the Dead, which heals regenerates the hit points of combatants. Now for his 2 casters, which are both precisely the same, I believe. They are a Necromancer that has just the Raised Dead for 7 undead summons, and he does not have Master of the Dead. And his other caster is Necromancer. It has Raised Dead, and he does have Curse of Undeath. And to top this amazing army off, he did bring 3 Fellbats to try and lock down any Dowie artillery. So the army that I brought is a little bit changed and upgraded from the last fight I had against Wyvern. Was the last time I showcased this army. I have upgraded from regular Rangers to Bugman Rangers, each of them with 1 chevron. And as I've been doing, I'm trying to get early pressure, so I'm really in range of his army right away. And the rest of my army is Thorgrim Grudgebearer here, and we did bring the Great Book of Grudges, the Oath of Vengeance for the -27 melee defense for 44 seconds, a Hex, and the Stand Your Ground. And I do have a pretty loaded up Runesmith who has the Hammer of Karak draws for a 50-second Hex of -44 melee attack, -25% weapon damage, plus 22% damage resistance with a Rune of Negation, the Rune of Wrath and Rune for the 48% speed reduction and damage. He also has Forge Fire for the plus 10% armor piercing damage, so I have a lot of armor piercing troops, and he does have the Master Rune of Groth Ronai for the plus 8 leadership. I do have surrounding Thorgrim 2 groups of Hammerers who are going to make use of all those buffs, and I have behind them the Grumbling Guard, which are also armor piercing, but they also help with the Vigor Aura. In the very back line, I have 3 groups of Slayers, including the Dragonback Slayers in the middle, and to my sides I have 2 groups of Longbeards, each with 1 chevron. So we will get this battle going, and I start shooting right away. I get 1 shot off at his Fellbats, and I am going to pull this group back and try and pull my group in. I'm sort of sorting this out in my mind right now because I don't really know what's going on. I'm just like, that seems awfully weird. There's got to be something else, but nope, that is it. And he's going to come in with his Fellbats and go after my Bugman's Rangers. Fortunately, Bugman's Rangers are very, very stalwart, and they're going to be alright. I'm bringing in the rest of my troops. I just want to get everything engaged here. And of course, he wants to get everything engaged as well with this army because they need to be in melee to do their damage. I am trying to get my Bugman's Rangers back and looking to find the right engagements for all the rest of my troops. So he is bringing in his Vargulfs to go after my Slayers, which isn't the best choice, I would say. And he's got his Fellbats that are still going after the Bugman's Ranger. I have Stand Your Ground going, Rune of Negation, and I've already gotten rid of those Fellbats. He has one group of Fellbats in the air, the other two groups, this one's almost dead, this group of Fellbats. And we do have these Bugman's Rangers here, so I'm going to try and pull them out a little bit. He's landed these Fellbats on these Bugman's Rangers. My Bugman's Rangers are going to do fine. They have 59 out of 60 models, and we do have these Grumbling Guard, which are helping everyone. I am trying to bring in my hammers into action. They are going to get that +9 melee attack buff, and they're going to get in there against his troops. My Slayers are getting pretty beat up because they're obviously being drained, but we're doing reasonably well over here. I'm beating up his Vargulf. He does have the Hammer of Characterize. He has 6 melee attack. And we're also going to take down this group of Fellbats, which is going to flee for that, my Bugman Rangers. So I am trying to bring these Bugman Rangers back and out so they can sort of post them up and start getting shots. I have the rest of my group fighting down here in this big ball of whatever this is, and they're pretty much constantly healing. I do have my Slayers going. I do have Longbeards and Hammers in here fighting these zombies that are summoned, so he's going to be constantly summoning. He does have these Vargulfs that are getting healed, but once I get these Bugman Rangers out into the right place, you can see I'm trying to get them to the right place to start shooting into these Vargulfs, because they're going to do a ton of damage to the Vargulf. He does have Krell summoned, and Krell is fighting Thorgrim Grudgebearer, I believe. No, he's fighting the Grumbling Guard. The Grumbling Guard are going to do just fine, but now that I can start shooting, I am going to start going after his Vargulfs one at a time. We're just going to hit one Vargulf at a time and try and whittle him doan as the rest of my troops sort of fight in this area, in this pocket. My front line, whatever it is sort of stable, and now my Bugman Rangers are really starting to go to work. They have 54 and 59 models, and now they're getting the Rune of Negation for the damage reduction buff, and now they've gotten rid of one Vargulf. It's time to hit on the second Vargulf, so I'm going to change my target here pretty soon to go for the next Vargulf. I'm just going to go after them one at a time, and we're going to see here, yeah, there we go, after this Vargulf, and we're just going to start shooting at him. He's going to try and regenerate him and get him through some of his heals, but you can see, you know, we're just slowly picking them off one at a time. We've got Krell almost down, and we do have our Bugman's Rangers. Now they do have charge defense against large, so they're going to do just fine against that Vargulf's charge. And you know, he's going to put a beat down on him, but he's having a hard time going through the trees, and we're just going to keep on shooting. I am going to take these, I think I got some Slayers back here. They're Dragonback Slayers. I think I'm going to take these Dragonback Slayers and try and get onto that Vargulf. We're fighting zombies, a Necromancer is in here, and we're sort of beating him down. He is definitely worse for the wear, and we're just fighting steady back over here. I do have Thorgrim Grudgebearer in here. He does cause magic damage. Not that there is any troops that have a lot of physical resist, but you can see the Vargulf has gotten back here. Now I've got the Dragonback Slayers going after him. I'm going to try and exchange my Bugman's Rangers and shoot at that Vargulf, but he is in real trouble now. There's no way he's going to be able to come back and do anything now that he's that far away. They might get a heal off on him, but I'm bringing in the Dragonback Slayers to start going after his troops. And really, I just want to keep shooting after that Vargul and send off my Dragonback Slayers to get him. But now, here it begins. So he's just pulling things out, trying to get out of the road here, and disengaging from the main fight. So I'm like, well, where's he going? Just trying to get everything together. You can see that Vargulf is crumbling, but he's now going to start regenerating once he gets close. And we're chasing after that Necromancer. He does have the 3 Mortis Engines and the Heinrich Kemmler and the 1 Vargulf. So I'm trying to get my Dragonback Slayers in, and I'm trying to get the rest of my troops sort of organized and sorted out to reevaluate. So he does come back, and here this Mortis Engine gets back, and these Dragonback Slayers are custom built for this sort of fight. He does bring in some zombies, so I'm just bringing back these Bugman's Rangers, and I'm sort of going to bring them into my back line, and I do want to get them into a better firing position, and I want to get the rest of my troops in there and chase him down. We've got this Mortis Engine is almost dead. I don't think it's going to last. You can see our Dragonback Slayers have done a fantastic job. Essentially it's at its healing cap. right now. I don't even know how it's still wandering around, but he's going to take and try and get away ahead of these hammers, and it's not going to last long in that position. He does have some more zombies in here sort of getting in the way. I am going to exchange these longbeards for the hammers, because I'd rather the longbeards fight him, and really I'm just pushing him. He's really getting towards the corner of the map up here. He's pushing up this way and trying to just pull away from where I'm at, and he's got this Vargulf on the way. I have been able to take, I was exchanging these zombies right now, and I am bringing these Bugman's Rangers around, and see, where's this Vargulf? Vargulf's got like 80 speed, but he's having a hard time getting through the woods here. I don't know if I can actually catch him with the there we go. Do we got him? Nope, 80 speed, so he's getting through, but I do have my Bugman's Rangers over here, and they're hidden, so he doesn't see him. And there he goes. Now I'm just going to start shooting at him, and it's going to be a real rough for this Vargulf, because he's going to start getting beat down by the Bugman's Rangers. He decides to charge in. They do have charge defense against large, and I do trap and kill him pretty quickly. Not really much he's going to do against these Bugman's Rangers. He is trying to get away, but he's minus 12 leadership. He's 30 speed. He's not going to get away from these Dragonback Slayers now. And the Bugman's Rangers are just going to continue to shoot him in the back until he absolutely crumbles and dies. But now we have this mess up here. So this is the rest of this game. Okay, he's going to go with this cheese, but at this point, clearly, I mean, it's game over. I mean, Thorgrim's at half health. I have a full health Runesmith. I have a half health Dragon Slayers. I have, you know, 2 full health, essentially, Bugman's Rangers. And really, there's nothing left but this. Now, we're just going to hit fast forward, because what would you expect from someone who plays like this, aside from a draw kite? So he's going to push me off with the Claw of Nagash, and he's going to try and get out of the way with the rest of his troops. I am going to be able to catch one of these guys. I can't remember which one it is, but he is now just beginning the classic draw kite. So there's 10 minutes left in the game. So I'm seeing, okay, he's going to draw kite. I'm going to try and reach him, but these 2 guys are on horseback. I mean, they got like 78 speed. I am trying to slow these guys down with my Dragonback Slayers. So I do have this Claw of Nagash slowed down, and we are going to be able to pick it off. But I'm really just trying to spread out my troops. I'm going to catch him. I'm going to try and take some shots at his Necromancer. And he's sort of dipsy and doodling and dancing around. But I do finish off this Claw of Nagash. Really, at this point, I probably should have focused on trying to get that Mortis Engine. I don't know if I would have got him with army losses at that point if I could have. But I did want to try and chase him around the map like this. And away goes the Claw of Nagash, or the Mortis Engine. I should have brought all of my troops to focus on that Mortis Engine at one time, and then maybe just sent, I don't know, my one group of Bugman's Rangers to try and chase him down. Because they're invisible to him once they get far enough away, or just my 2 Bugman's Rangers. And then, but he is able to sort of get away. He has 52 speed, and I cannot quite get him with my Dragonback Slayers. If I can catch him, I can slow him down to where he's never getting away. But he's getting, somehow he's getting his way through these woods. There he goes. Now 31 speed. Dragonback Slayers are beating the crap out of him now. But he comes in and actually sacrifices his caster to save that Mortis Engine. Now it's just his hero and just his Mortis Engine. He is really pushing it away. He gets into the fight here. The Dragonback Slayers are going to keep fighting. I only have 30 seconds left, and we almost got it killed, but it is not going to matter. It is a draw. The only winner here is the Blood God. So we'll end that replay. Clearly, I would say, based on this sort of cheese, that was a demolition. As someone who's used to playing that build and nothing but that build, and apparently that's all they do, and they're very famous for draw kiting. I'm very happy with the way my build performed in this against the cheese. And the thing is, though, the discussion really is not about this person, Boros or whatever he calls himself. He actually changed his name, and I ended up playing him again. And I'm like, man, well, that seems really weird. And then again, as soon as we get into the game, I'm like, he changed his build because he knew what my build was, but I didn't know what his build was because his name was different, and it was just ridiculous. Now, this goes to say, whose responsibility is this sort of cheese? This really cancerous play, cancerous builds, and really something that hurts the game rather than helps it. And I really do believe this is not this BORO fellow's responsibility. It is CA's responsibility. I'm not upset with BORO. I mean, I was I was swearing at him in the chat. I was having a full-on dwarf rage, calling him a coward, and you know, everything I could think of at the time to just try and goad him into fighting. And no, he just wanted to draw kite it out, and that's what he did, and just had his, you know, essentially his one hero and one unit left. I don't know how they didn't die from army losses, but they didn't. And but really, this is CA's fault. This is CA's responsibility, these types of games, because there are three things they could do to avoid this altogether. Very easy. Number one, your game name is your name. You know, if you play someone and you remember their name, you know who they are and you know how they play. That's it. Period. And you know, I get it. Lots of people like to change their names and like to go with different names. They don't, like, streamers don't like to get sniped. But your name is your name, and your name is your bond, and that's the way I feel. I'm old, I get it, but I think you should be who you are at all times, regardless of the cost. I think that's the character move. But lots of people won't do that, so CA could very easily make it so your in-game name is your in-game name, period. Unchangeable without a new game. Now, if some people will buy new games and they'll play under different names, but they will get known under those names too. Number two, draw kiting can be ended at 15 minutes. This is a 20-minute game. At 15 minutes, every 10 seconds, starting at 15 minutes, your highest leadership unit rampages. So if you have 20 units, within 3 minutes, all of them will be rampaging. There will be no more draws. That's it. Period. If someone wants to corner camp, if someone wants to draw kite, if those guys don't want to fight, the game will decide it for you. It's your fault. You know what's coming. Period. Draw kites are over. Your highest leadership unit starts to rampage at 15 minutes, 10 seconds. Your next highest unit rampages, 15 minutes, 20 seconds. Your next highest leadership unit rampages, and so on and so forth. Draws are over, and it's fine. None of this BS. This is CA's responsibility, not BORO's responsibility. And finally, we have the ability to have mutually exclusive choices and a set number of units in every case that could follow the wonderful work that the tournament crowd with Shetland Apache and that crowd has really developed an amazing tournament list for unit limits. And you could easily limit them off with spells by using mutually exclusive logic in the selection. They already have the technology there. You can only take 2 heroes. You used to be able to take 3. You can only take 1 regimentary now, and you can make it so you can only take 2, 3 single entity models. You can follow those rules precisely, and we know it makes for great games. Now, if you watch tournament games, you still see games that are pretty kitey and games that are, you know, builds that are a little more one side, but it is not as extreme. This is the most extreme example. You know, all 3 of his casters had raised dead. He could have raised 21 units of zombies. And he had the magic to do so. I don't know if he can raise all 21, but maybe he could. And he had regeneration on pretty much everything. And he had the ability to just keep this build essentially going and going and going. And really, though, I'll reiterate, this is not his fault. Now, the person is, you know, obviously, this shows a lack of character for the person, but this is not his responsibility that he doesn't have any character. That's his upbringing and his parents and himself. That's not CA's responsibility. CA's responsibility is to make the game that allows people to have fun playing it, and it's 3 simple changes, and you change the face of this game, and they're all easy to do. Now, I have a much more in-depth discussion on multiplayer and things I think could be changed to make the multiplayer scene a lot more vibrant and interesting. But I think this is just a good example. And there is a, if you want to see this BORO fellow get crushed, instead of just lose a draw kite. Turin has a game of Sladex doing just that on his channel. I'll try and remember to link it in the description so that you can all enjoy BORO getting demolished by Sladex. All right, I would love to hear your comments down below. Keep them. I don't want them too toxic. I mean, I was swearing at the time and when I played this game, but I don't need that sort of thing. Really, first of all, what do you think about the difference between players who play builds like this and exploit things like this? Like, for the Dowie, listen, I know there's a lot of dwarf-only players. This is a dwarf-only channel, but believe me, you can be draw-kited by every faction in the game every single match. I mean, you can be. It is really hard as the Dowie to prevent it, and because you just don't have a whole lot of fast movers. Now, so I would like to know what your thoughts are on that. Your thoughts on whose responsibility it is to fix it and how easy it would be to fix. And maybe you have examples of games that have done a good job of handling this sort of stuff, you know, in terms of one-on-one games where they've changed the way builds are done so that they're not quite so irritating. Anyways, love to hear from you in the comments. With that said, I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you soon.